So it's been announced today that Deontay Wilder will face mandatory challenger Dominic Breazeale at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York on May the 18th on Showtime. Now, before I get into this fight and what I think about it, I want to first address the fact that Deontay Wilder. Now, I hadn't made any videos on this because I was a bit skeptical about the kind of veracity of it. But from what we're gathering, Deontay Wilder has essentially turned down a 3 fight deal with DAZN, which would have guaranteed him something like $100 million, something in around that region, and he has chosen to stay with Showtime. And apparently, this fight against Dominic Breazeale will be live on regular Showtime, not pay per view. And he's essentially, from what I can gather, going to make less fighting Dominic Breazeale, sticking with Showtime altogether than he would have if he had signed with ESPN or DAZN. Now, Shirley Finkel, I can see here, has given an interview. I can see here is with ESPN, as far as I believe, and it says Shirley Finkel claims that Deontay Wilder is in talks for a 3 fight deal with Showtime that's worth as much or more than DAZN, even if he doesn't fight AJ. Now, I'm going to keep going on with this. He added that, where is it? Wilder would have outs, so he's not tied down to any contracts and could fight on DAZN or ESPN if needed. Now, that's what Shirley Finkel is claiming. Now, I wouldn't trust Shirley Finkel as far as I could throw him. I would trust the blind man to tell me the time quicker than I would Shirley Finkel. Deontay Wilder, I just don't understand it. You know, I mean, that DAZN deal, if it's true, and we fully believe that DAZN deal is true, he was guaranteed, a 2 fight deal with Anthony Joshua. So he would have fought Anthony Joshua for something like 40 million and would have been, would have had a rematch. But why isn't he take DAZN fight? Now, Deontay Wilder says this, that, and the other, that he's a free agent, that he has the saying in his own career, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder has Jay Diaz, who is one of his managers. He has Shirley Finkel, who is another manager, and he's advised by Al Heyman. All right, that's a recipe for disaster if I've ever seen it. There's too many people pulling strings, and if you think Deontay Wilder has to say in what goes on, no, you're kidding me. I used to give Deontay Wilder the benefit of the doubt when this whole Anthony Joshua saga started off back last summer, before the Fury fight was announced, and I used to say basically that I think it was 60-40 in Wilder's kind of, not in his defense, more so his side than it was Eddie Hearn, which was the reason why the Joshua Wilder fight didn't happen back in September when it was being talked about. I thought it was a clash of egos, this, that, and the other. But the more this is dragged on, the more I think that actually it's all Team Wilder, and Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua are being more genuine. And I don't really trust Eddie Hearn, but I believe him when he says that Deontay Wilder and Shirley Finkel, it's them, not him, who are the issues. Because I think it is at this stage. Because I think if you're turning all these offers down, he turned down an offer to go to ESPN, as far as I believe, which would have culminated, I believe, in a Tyson Fury fight. So what is he going to do? What's the plan for Deontay Wilder now? That AJ fight is essentially gone off the table for the time being. He doesn't appear to be fighting Fury anytime soon. And he's fighting Breazeale on regular Showtime. And, he's probably not going to make a fraction of what he would have got fighting on either platform, ESPN or DAZN. Why do I think he's fighting Dominic Breazeale on DAZN? Or not on DAZN, on Showtime? Well, I think Al Heyman has a massive amount to do with it. If you figure, if Deontay Wilder leaves Showtime and fights on DAZN, and the Anthony Joshua fight, say that happens on DAZN, that's going to cripple Showtime. We've seen HBO bow out of boxing. Showtime are running shows, but they're nowhere near as many as they used to, and the pay-per-view platform, we've had 2 pay-per-views this year. We've had Manny Pacquiao's pay-per-view with Adrian Broner, and we just that wasn't even a Showtime as far as I believe it was. That was actually a Fox pay-per-view, the Garcia-Spence fight. So, are Showtime really, are they really in boxing anymore these days? Apart from these little niche fights such as, Pacquiao, Broner, or Wilder, Breazeale, stuff like that. Is this whole streaming service that we get from DAZN, ESPN, that's what's going to take over now? Is that going to kind of kill the pay-per-view platform off? Because if Wilder fought Joshua on DAZN, and it'd be a streaming service, you're paying a subscription, that would kill Showtime, cripple them. So maybe Al Heyman is thinking, what, we need to keep Wilder with Showtime. We'll take the the insult, the whatever. But we need to keep Wilder on Showtime. I think that might be what it is. Now, look, that's a little kind of my 2 cents on the whole Wilder DAZN thing kind of done. Back onto his mandatory fight with Dominic Breazeale. I've said many times, and I'll say it again, I think Wilder will have an easy time with Breazeale. Breazeale, he's a big guy, he can punch a bit, he comes to fight, he's a tough man. He is slow as anything. He is painfully slow. He's one of the slowest heavyweights around. He's not that hard to hit. He's not chinny, but he's certainly not got an iron jaw. Anthony Joshua had him down. Izzy Wagono had him down. Amir Mansour had him down. I think Deontay Wilder won't have any trouble landing the right hand, and I expect him to have a nice... Basically, I think he'll have an easy time with Breazeale. I don't think he'll have too much of a job beating Dominic Breazeale in this fight. Breazeale has, been reasonably inactive as well the last few years. He had the fight with Eric Molina in 2017, and I think he only had one fight last year, if I'm not mistaken, so he's not been the most active. As I said, Breazeale, he's not a massive threat, but at the end of the day in the heavyweight division, who knows? Breazeale can punch a bit. If he lands a shot on Wilder, you never know what might happen. But I think that this mandatory fight, it'll get the mandatory out of the way, to be fair, but I don't think Wilder will have too much trouble with Breazeale. Those are my thoughts on this. At this stage, I would love to see the undisputed fight with Anthony Joshua. I used to kind of go back and forth who I think would win that fight. Right now, I think the ball's in AJ's court to win that. I think AJ would win that fight if it happened, to put it like that. The Fury rematch, where does that stand? Where does that go? It looks more likely we may see Dylan White versus Fury than we will see Deontay Wilder versus Fury at this stage. So, it's not good. It's weird. Like, we have the three kind of biggest heavyweights in the world on three different platforms: Fury on ESPN, Anthony Joshua on DAZN, and Wilder on Showtime. So it's not good. It doesn't spring confidence to you that we're going to see these fights get made. But you never know. Stranger things, I'm sure, have happened. Those are my thoughts on this. As I said, leave your thoughts down below. Do you think Deontay Wilder is, making a big mistake not signing with DAZN? At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder, he can say all he wants about how he's the free agent, he makes the decision. He doesn't. That's Al Heyman, Sherry Finkel, and JD may let him think he does, but he doesn't. I'm sure Al Heyman is the guy who gets to say at the end of the day. I'm sure Al Heyman, I'm sure, is number one in this. So, those are my thoughts on this. Leave your thoughts down below. Do you see the Wilder-Breazeale fight being a bit tougher than I think it is? I don't. I think Wilder will, have an easy time with that fight. But, leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for dropping by the channel. Much appreciated. Please hit subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Please share it. And as always, I will talk to you after.